Kevin, let me start by asking a very basic question. What exactly does Highpeak CVS do?
Well, Highpeak CVS exists to support community and voluntary groups within the Highpeak, and it helps them grow and develop. That's our mission, really. So they come up with a project that they would like to develop, one of the community groups, and we support them in that to see it to fruition.
Just give me an example.
One example would be Syrenka, which is a Polish group which operates from the Buxton area of the Highpeak, and we helped them. A couple of people came to us. They said, "Oh, we've got this idea. We'd like to form a Polish group," and we've followed them through the project and the development of that. And in the summer, they developed a community football match, which was really well attended. Over 300 people went to it. There's a community barbecue, and interesting, they were looking at the integration of English people and others with the Polish community. So it's fantastic initiative.
Right. I've come across this group. They were also involved in this sort of Spring Rights Festival.
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah. So they took part in this Love and Passion Festival, which is an arts kind of festival, celebration of life. And they ended up burning this effigy and floating it on the water anyway. So it's great, you know.
They brought their own sort of rather wild version over from Poland, didn't they?
That's it.
What else? Give me another example.
Another example would be Chinley Community Association, which is basically a couple of people again decided that there wasn't much happening in the local community there in Chinley, which is a rural community for young people. And there was a building that they noticed hardly anyone was using, which was run by the county council. So basically we helped them get the money together, some funding through the local network fund and through Awards for All, to get a feasibility study together to assess what the community need was, what activities the community would like in that community. And then we helped them develop a community cafe, an internet cafe for young people, and they bought loads of different types of equipment. And interestingly, we helped them recently apply to the lottery for a big pot of funding. They weren't successful. However, they decided that they were doing so well that they would take on the responsibility for managing the building, and they've done that for the last 18 months. So we've seen a lot more activity in that community for young people, and lots of different groups being formed.
And in a sense created something from nothing.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
But how do you actually get your funding to help them?
Well, that's always a challenge. That's really is a nub of the issue. We have some grant funding, but increasingly that's becoming more difficult to get grant funding. So we've developed over the last 6 years more and more trading activity. So we will contract with people to provide them with a website. We will do consultancy work. We trade around our community print service. We hire out rooms here at the CVS.
And I gather you even moved into videos as well.
Yes, that's right. Yes, and we've definitely moved into videos.
And what about private businesses locally? Do they contribute anything? Do you have any sponsors?
We don't actually have sponsors at the moment from private business, but we have relationships which are developing. So we don't actually do that, but we're starting to trade with them through our commercial activity, through our web design service, Digital Umbrella, where we're going to, we're just basically signing a deal at the moment to do a website for a local pub as an example. So we're actually looking at trading with those, any business really, on an equal basis to the commercial activity.
But isn't this all stuff that could actually be done by the private sector, or indeed supporting these local groups? Couldn't that be done by the local council, local authorities?
It could be, but we feel that we add value because we are very much mindful of the social impact of what we do. So we're all about bringing change and better conditions and environments and improving the quality of life for people within the Highpeak. Well, we do the trading, but we also, for example, we trade with voluntary organisations. Like we've just done a website and a video for North Derbyshire Women's Aid, and that's very much about supporting women fleeing domestic abuse in their communities. So, we make a difference in the work that we do.
And that isn't work that would necessarily be taken on by people in the private sector, I suppose, or certainly at a high price.
But also we know what the customer wants. We know what the voluntary organisations are about. That's what we're rooted in. And we have an empathy with them. They like coming to us because not only do we provide quality and a prompt service, but we're very sensitive to their needs. and we give them what they want. We explain, things in easy terms to understand. And I think the basic line is that the quality of what we do is actually over and above a lot of the commercial businesses anyway.
And if you had to sort of single one thing out, why is Highpeak CVS important? And why is it important to the people that come to you, the voluntary groups?
I think it's important because, there's over 850 groups operating within the Highpeak.
How many of them are members?
We have over 325 member organisations, and that's building each year. And we're accountable to them. We work to what they want. So we feed back to them and ask them how we're doing. Are we providing the services that they want to enable them to get from the germ of a project to the end of that project?
And what sort of things typically do they want from you?
They come often to us for funding advice. They've got a project idea, something that they want to do, and then often there's work to be done behind that. It might be that they haven't got the skills within their group, so they need to recruit new people to their management committee or their company. It might be that they need to put some policies in place. There's a whole range of things. It might be that they want some training on a specific issue. We did a lot of work around child protection policies and things. There's a whole raft of different types of support that we offer, but the objective is really for them to get the resource that they need to develop their project.
Now, obviously, Highpeak CVS sees itself as being in the vanguard of what CVSs all over the country are doing. What, in your view, are the key ingredients to running a really successful CVS?
I think that one of the main ingredients is remaining in touch with your local group. So it's making sure that we provide what they want. And the other thing I would say is the nature of the relationships we build. We build relationships with whoever wants to work with us, whether it be the commercial sector, whether it be local councils, whether it be primary care trusts. And in fact, we've got a very successful project here in the Highpeak, which is the Arts and Creative Businesses Manager, which is a joint partnership project with the Borough Council. So it's unique. It's one of the first in the country. And we're very much into doing things differently, where we add value. In that example, we have a really strong flavour around working with festivals and broadening their appeal and their success.
Because that is really at the very heart of the community, isn't it? Some of
Yes.
these festivals,
Yes.
which Highpeak is very rich in, isn't it?
Yes, it's fantastic for that.
And what's the added value of practicing what you preach?
Right. Well, this is a question that you were wondering about, weren't you? It's basically saying, I think, that when we advise our groups, like for instance we advise groups around what we call asset development, about managing and buildings and
like the Chinley Group
like
and
the Chinley Association,
and the hall,
yes,
yeah.
The fact that we've got our own building which we own and we've paid the mortgage off and we earn money through it.
Is that unusual?
It is actually quite a few CVSs do that, but it was unusual in that we did it within a 5-year period that we paid the mortgage off. And we were the first CVS in the country to take a loan from the charity bank. So what we basically do is we, because we've got that experience of managing a building, it helps inform our support to the groups. Similarly, we have our own social enterprise, Digital Umbrella, and that's about running a business. Well, when we do, that helps us inform our work that we do with other emerging social enterprises within Derbyshire.
Does that really make money, or is it in a sense propped up by Highpeak CVS and the grants you get?
Digital Umbrella is completely income generates its own money. So basically, what that means is it contracts with different volunteering community groups, different businesses, to develop websites, and there's no grant funding whatsoever goes into that.
And does it in fact do the reverse? Does it plough money into Highpeak CVS yet, or not?
At the moment, it's not. No.
But it will do.
We hope that it will in the future.
Do you see Highpeak CVS as a social enterprise?
Well, this is a really interesting question because I think it is. I think it's a social enterprise because I look around me and I see the social impact of what we do. I see the environmental impact of what we do. I mean, we've got a whole project called the Sustain Project with a thread around reducing environmental impact, and there's been a directory and lots of work done with groups around reducing environmental impact. So we've got those two strands there, and obviously we seek to be financially